Hey, what's going on, everybody? They're back 47 here. I kind of wanted to give another quick update on the Sonex build here. I ran into a little bit of an issue here. I got the flight controls installed, and on my last video, I just kind of had this cover laden loose, and I was just doing a quick test fit, and everything appears to be working as it should. Now, on the instructions, what you got to do basically, as you can see back there, the mixer installed, and I have my connecting rod from my yoke to the idler, and you're supposed to put this long connecting rod from the idler back to the mixer. And basically the way it was described in the instructions in the prints is basically you bolt this thing on, okay? So basically this is going to go through this hole this way. That brass bushing is going to marry up with that hole, and it's all going to kind of work together here. Now, when I went to install this rod, basically you have to drill this hole here and back where it goes through, where the pin and mixer goes through. Okay, so you gotta, what it says to do in the instructions is to bring the mixer all the way forward to the stop, and bring your flight controls all the way forward, and that's your maximum position forward that you're ever going to get in both throw from the flight controls and the mixer. Then once you got it where you need it to be, you hold your push rod wherever it needs to be. You put a 5/16 drill bit through, and you either drill it all the way through or mark it and whatnot. So I did that. I had this all installed. I actually had it bolted on. Here's the hardware. And when I held it up in place to mark my hole, as you can see, the drill bit kind of fell on the part on the flat and on the actual stock part of the push rod. And I'm sitting here scratching my head because there's a bushing that goes through there. Then the bolt goes through the bushing, much like it does in the front of the rod where it connects to the idler. And I kind of been scratching my head over this for a couple days. I actually sent Sonic an email. I thought maybe they gave me a push rod that was built a little too long. Maybe this, got changed a little bit in length from just heating and cooling. Something happened. It just didn't look right. And I'm still waiting for him to hear back about that. It basically said, hey, can you send me a push rod without any holes drilled in it, because this hole in front was actually pre-drilled, which was kind of nice. Then you just drill your hole on the other end wherever it is and it falls. They make it super easy. But after looking this a little bit, and I couldn't tell when I was underneath the aircraft, is when I pushed this push rod all the way forward, which obviously would bring your flight controls forward. I didn't see this until I was cleaning out my tools in the airplane. And as you can see, there's a couple witness marks right here. I'm like, well, that's not good. It's not really supposed to rub. And if you look, this is this whole plate here is kind of bowed up, and it's hitting really hard on this. It's actually catching the bushing. Now if I press down on this, okay, let's try to do this one-handed here, I'll get the 3/4 of an inch of throw that I need down here, and that'll land flat. So I'm like, okay, well, why is it doing this? What's going on? And bear with me here, I'm doing this on my cell phone. I don't have any good fancy equipment. This is why I try to make my YouTube videos while I'm streaming. I just go over still shots. But there's a couple things that are going on. Once this thing's all the way forward, the stop, okay, for the yoke, it's supposed to stop. This over here just hits the side of the frame so you can't overextend it, is actually hitting one of these bolts right in here. This is an easy fix. I can just trim that back. I'm really not worried about that. That'll clear that hardware and it won't be an issue. But the bigger issue is I can't get full forward deflection on the flight controls. So I kind of took it apart here, and I can do this really quick here. I can pull these hinge pins out. If you look what's going on, let me pull this one out, then I'll pull this one out. Voila, it all jumped forward. You guys heard it and you see it jump forward. Now it's laying flat. I can get full deflection on the flight controls. Okay, but if you look over here where the hinge pins line up, you can obviously see an issue there. Now I can actually put the flight controls back where they need to be. It cleared it, everything's good. Now let me bow this, push that back up towards its hinge pin. You can see how that pushed up. Now it's hitting again. Does that make sense? Let it go flat, it'll clear it all day long. As you can see, it's clearing it, that 3/4 of an inch. So when Sonex responds to the email, I'm gonna have to talk to them and figure out what they want to do with this piece right here. I think I know how I want to fix it, but it's not gonna be great because it's obviously offset, whatever that is, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch, whatever it is. I can make that up on the back side, okay? I can drill these rivets off on this top piece of hinge, leave this hooked to the frame, and then what I'm hoping is they can send me another piece of hinge. I'll put the pins through, lay it flat, then with this hinge removed, lay this down on top of it, and wherever it falls, I'll drill through the hinge pin or through the hinge itself with these pre-existing holes and rivet it back together, then it'll sit flat. But as you can see here, it's very clear that there's not a lot of room with this hinge that I can move down against that rivet. That rivet will pretty much be exactly right tight against that the round part of the hinge. So we're gonna have to come up with a solution here. And just to be clear, this was a click build kit. This is not a modification that I did. This is not a part that I made. This was actually made by Sonex, and I don't want to knock Sonex. I don't want anybody to kind of not buy their product because of this stupid little thing with a hinge, okay? Their build quality has been absolutely phenomenal. Miles better than anything that I can do myself, and I prove that to myself as I'm building this project. These guys really know what they're doing. For whatever reason, maybe the aircraft kind of expanded or contracted a little bit. We're going from summer to autumn into winter, vice versa. I mean, there's a bunch of different factors here, but and that might not have anything to do with it. It probably is just mounted wrong. But I got to get a hold of Sonex. I'm going to send them an email, probably include this YouTube video, and just see what is it we got to do here moving forward to make this work. But as you can see, flat, bowed up, flat, bowed up, flat, bowed up. And it's bowing up just enough for them flight controls to hit. So that's where we stand right now on the project, guys. All that moving back is kind of on a standstill right now. I did start to run my cables, which is really nice. I don't really want to install the fittings on the end or get anything tied up in or actually mounted until I get that push rod squared away. But in other news, I kind of was working on the fairing that goes over here, this top piece today. And so far, I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I got to work on forming it, but I cut it out right according to the prints, right to the spec on the prints, and it took me a little bit to do that. I actually took a piece of string, tied it down here, got the length of the way I needed to be, whatever it needed to be. I took a pen, held it there, and just kind of drew my radius that way with a string, so it was always the same length. Then just went off the specs and kind of trimmed it out. I'm not sure, the one thing that wasn't really clear on the prints is how wide this mount's going to be. I made it 5/8. If I need to trim that back a little bit, I can, not an issue. But I got more than enough meat material there to do what I got to do. But I'm going to have to bend this up to 85 degrees. And I'm going to have to put a contour in this right here, somewhat like that, to get it to form on the aircraft. And I'm not sure exactly how I want to do that yet. I'm probably going to need to get some tools. I thought about maybe, like, seriously, just getting like a rolling pin and going back and forth over it. But as I lay it down on top of here, man, these marks are just perfect. That's right to the print, and everything is right where it needs to be, where it's gonna fold up underneath there. So I know I'm pretty confident that it's made right, and if it's not, I got plenty of aluminum I can redo it again. But I am gonna have to form that so it fits underneath this fairing right here. But I'm really happy with the way that turned out. That's what I worked on today, and just going over some of the things that I did. I made this push rod up for the tail wheel. Everything looks like that. I finally got the right ruddervator squared away. Okay, that all turned out beautiful. It's obviously kind of flapping the braze here because it's not hooked up with any flight controls. And the left side looks really good as well too. It took me it took me 3 tries to get them right, but we finally got it right. And we'll take the experiences that I learned from these ruddervators and the mistakes that I made with the ruddervators and move them on to other parts of the aircraft, like the ailerons, the flaps and whatnot. But it's all coming along pretty good. I was able to get the flap bar installed, and I kind of went over this briefly in my other video, but if you look up underneath there's the mounts. It turned out really good. So everything's coming along really good. It's just going to take as long as it takes. I'm in no hurry to, as I said in my last video, I'm in no hurry to turn this thing into a lawn dart, but I believe it's kind of progressing as exactly as it should. Pretty happy with the way it's turning out, and we're making headway on it. But there's going to be some minor hiccups like this along the way. It's to be expected. I'm not blaming Sonex at this point. I don't really believe in blame anyways. I believe in owning everything that you do, and taking ownership is what moves things forward. Pointing blame, hi doggy, oh, we got a doggy hang out. Whenever you point blame at somebody, the problems never get fixed. So I'm not worried about blame. I'm worried about coming up with a solution to get that fixed in front. I'm sure it's really not going to be that much of an issue. I could probably take those rivets off on both sides. It's going to be a little bit of a little bit more of a challenge maxing that up from the top side down. But it looks like they're spaced pretty evenly, so I'll just put my gauge on it, match up the holes. If I have to cheat that back, that 1/8 of an inch, then move this one here 1/8 of an inch back, that's a solution too. I mean, there's a couple different things that we can do, and Sonex might have some really good ideas too. They've been phenomenal. The customer service from Sonex has been miles better than anything I've ever expected. I've emailed them a bunch of times along the way of different things, basically to double check my work, and their customer service is just really good. But she's coming along pretty good, guys. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, just to kind of come up with something fun, I came up with again, bear with me, I'm working on my cell phone here. I came up with a name for the aircraft, and it's kind of creative. As you can see, I don't really have much here. I'm not one of those guys that are hyper rich. I'm just really good at saving money and, making responsible choices with my money. But I'm working off a dirt floor here in this little carport that I fashioned up. So I'm calling this airplane, I'm going to name her Dirt Floor Pour. That's what I'm calling it. We're going to call this airplane Dirt Floor Pour, because that's what we're doing here. But something fun. I'm really happy with the project, and looking forward to seeing your guys' comments too. And if anybody has any suggestions on how to kind of go about doing this too, I'm all ears. Seriously. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll keep everybody updated on the project.